Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Boevoi Splendento Halloween Commander. Of course, if you don't got him, I've been saying Gurren or Troops could be fine in this. A little bit more Torp focused than the previous Soviet destroyer line, so keep that in mind with your build. Land of Fire Domination Mode game. I'm going to be talking about what we do this match. We're also going to be talking a lot about an Akatsuki on our team. Now, he's going to be making a play that normally I heavily criticize on this channel, like almost every video, because it's the biggest problem with destroyer play in the game. It's Japanese destroyer players predominantly, but usually what they try and do is get behind enemy lines and just torp battleships. Now, that's what those destroyers do better than anything else in the game. So I think some people might listen to me talk about that sometimes and think, well, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Why would they recommend not doing what the ships are kind of designed to do? But that's making that play is a play that's available in the wide range of options of plays to make. Now, when does it make sense? When it helps your team win the game. When it doesn't make sense is when it doesn't help your team win the game as much as other things you can be doing. Primarily countering destroyers and capturing bases as destroyers. That's your main job. So that we'll get more into here as the game goes on. There's two possibilities. Either he just kind of happens to make the plays that are correct along with getting into the back line, torping battleship play, and it was all just kind of a random good game for a less experienced player. I don't believe that's the case, and how he fights the destroyers with me is what makes me believe that. But and how it works in the game situation, I think it's actually the correct play. So I believe it's probably a more experienced player. It's possible it's just a new player that happens to be making moves that complement what's going on in this game. But anyway, we're on B. Now we're contested here, trying to back up towards the suspected point of the destroyer, which of course the half moon twist and track is telling us where that is. We saw he was zone torping us. It was a pretty decent shot right on the edge of the island. I think that's another sign of an experienced player on the other side in terms of their torp. Number one, they're zone torping and they're torping likely places that players would be. That's why I tried to swing around to the right-hand side of that island. We're backing up here. Normally I wouldn't want to do this because we're for sure going to get outspotted by pretty much everything. But the one known support ship we got back there is that battleship, and he's in the process of disengaging to the east. So it's very likely we had two destroyers over here to begin with. That could be a problem. But that Akatsuki is coming over here to help. Okay, so that's making me a little bit more confident in our position here. And we're just actually going to push into this guy, see if we can reveal him. This Akatsuki coming over here from A, that's probably the most suspect part of his game, in my opinion, evaluating this game. Why he did that, it's possible he saw the T-61 there and saw what his battleship was doing behind him or something. Or he potentially thought, okay, they got the carrier back there to kind of serve as another destroyer. I can go support the mid. I don't know what the thought process was. Ends up working out quite well, though. I'm actually glad he's over here because our battleship less committed. And you can see as time goes on, he's able to shoot less and less at B, which means he's able to support us less and less. So this Akatsuki here actually makes quite a bit of difference. We chased the Fubuki off around the island, and we can just guess he's going to come over here. I, of course, want to kill him. We're in the process of getting the cap. We should be able to do that before we see this guy. I'm considering stopping here and trying to gun that T-61 down and potentially whatever that other ship was. But I'm assuming this Fubuki's in the process of attacking me, and that's why we want to keep the guns pointed over there. They're locked, and here he comes. He's definitely in the process of attacking us. So if I move the guns to the other side of the ship to fight those guys, there's a pretty good chance I actually die here. We knock his engine. I immediately use the speed boost. I should probably have held onto it just a little bit here, because it's very likely we would have saw the torps right upon launch. You can see, well, maybe he got a couple seconds off before we could see them, but if we use the speed boost right away, then if he's aiming on the aim indicator, then he can account for the additional speed that the speed boost is already incorporating. Whereas if he launches the torps, then we use the speed boost, then we kind of naturally outpace those torps. So a little bit nitpicky here. Akatsuki once again helping me fight the Fubuki, helping me spot him as well. And this is kind of why I suspect this guy actually knows what he's doing. Is because Japanese destroyer play is one of the key things that you normally see about them in the wild is they refuse to shoot anything. But that guy, he aggressively attacked that Fubuki with me, used the guns the entire time, and that's basically how I would approach that situation if I'm in that ship as well. So he's playing it like experienced destroyer player. That's usually how you can tell if you're playing against a good destroyer player or not, is if they're fighting back against you. If you're in the destroyer, if they're shooting you and trying to torp while they're on their or their main gun reload, as opposed to spending 10, 15, 20 seconds lining up the perfect torp shot and then maybe getting around to the guns after that, maybe not, at which point in time they should be dead. So that's usually the sign of if I'm either fighting a destroyer player or I'm trying to evaluate my own team. How they're dealing with the other enemy destroyers is usually a huge clue. We're able to combine with the carrier, and we got that destroyer down. Now, getting back into this Akatsuki's game mode, or his game, you can see he's already down south torping now. Now, normally I'd be like, okay, this is kind of pointless, but evaluate the game situation. We had captured B. He could see that we were going to win A, right? Okay, we had that low, 5,000 HP Laga or Dragos or whatever that was, and then the T-61, which I was in the process of engaging as well. So he could very well read that play and say, all right, I think they got A. I'm going to go deal with C. Now, how we deal with things, especially as Japanese destroyer players, isn't always cut and dry because we don't have the gunpowder to outmuscle things. So they got 2 destroyers, they got 2 battleships, and a carrier over there. Him going directly into sea, probably not the most profitable. But if he can harass these ships from the south, get their attention, and he's actually going to draw at least one of the destroyers down there, to try and go fight them. And he's kind of dealing with these battleships. This is also pressuring C, helping deal with C, and we're still attacking C in this case, okay? He's just not back there shooting down ships that are anchored in the back, parked on the moon, looking through the Hubble telescope. That's not what these ships are doing. They're actually playing C. Now, the red ships, as soon as they cleared that flank, they need to immediately pressure B. The red team from here on out really doesn't make any moves that are designed to win the game, so we do need to talk about that as well. But I think they're likely responding in large to what that Akatsuki's doing. He's probably known down there. You can see the Shiratsuyu pursuing him, but look at this. The Shiratsuyu is losing health, and those are signs that he's shooting the guns. He's the only one that can hit him, of course, right now. And he's fighting these, and he's got these torpedoes coming in, so he's trying to knock the engine. Boom, got him with the torp. So that's why I don't think this is just a new player that happened to play moves that I would agree with. I think this is a good strategy implementing it. But again, don't watch this one game and be like, aha, now getting behind the enemy lines is the way to do this, apparently. It's usually still generally what you want to be doing is kind of drawing an oval around A, B, and C, one giant oval. That's the most relevant part of the game, okay? But to reiterate, him being down there is drawing their attention away from B, which is what Red desperately needs to be on B right now. They for sure need to stop the bleeding on the score while they catch up on ship kills. If they can't, they're going to definitely need to kill some ships, but if they're going to leave B the whole time, the hole will just be too big to climb out of. It's like climbing out of quicksand at that point in time. So, again, him drawing those guys over there, distracting them, it's a valid play. It's a good play to be making here. So this, once again, is a play. It's a tool in the toolbook. Getting behind ships, torping them. Torping battleships is always fine, but it's usually not the best play to make. I think in this situation, I would agree with that player. I like what he's doing here. And now we're in position to defend B. The battleships, they're put to the west, are 2 blue battleships. They need to spread out. I'd take one, move it to the north of the island, keep one where it is now. But they both went there. That was 2 or 3 minutes where they couldn't shoot, of course, because they're blocked by that giant island. But now they're tethered together as well, and they're not going to get crossfires with nearly as much ease if the enemy decides to angle against them. So we popped the smoke down there because we knew we were about to get spotted. The Warspite's probably not looking at me, but it does have an audio cue that says destroyer spotted, and if they're worth the damn as a player, they will check the map and see where it is. Meanwhile, we on that guy, and the Mayhan comes into focus here. He smartly decided, okay, I got to go get on to B. Unfortunately for him, he runs into us. And now we're kind of in position. We got teammates shooting him as well. And we're boxed in. We're the ones defending B. We got 3 ships over here. The carrier's positioned good. He's getting into A. The team's positioning is pretty good. Again, space those battleships out by one square, 1.5 squares, something like that. It would be perfect positioning as far as I'm concerned. Mayhan, we're trying to get as much damage here. And I'm moving aggressively from right to left. Okay, I'm suspecting that we're probably... he torped us because we're sitting in the smoke, and he knew roughly where we were. So I'm pushing into him. I want to reveal this Mayhem. I want to kill him. But I'm trying to get over here because we're suspecting there's torps coming. And right on cue here, any second, there they are. Okay, so if we just go sail straight at that guy without accounting for the likely possibility of the torps coming in, we're probably dead there. Those American torps, low visibility, they'll pop up very late, and it's pretty easy to hit them. The carrier is now spotting us. Luckily, we do get into the 2-kilometer auto detect with the Mayhem. Had the carrier spotted us for a while more, the Mayhem actually would have killed us there because we didn't have any other way to spot him until we got into that 2-kilometer. And here we're going down with the secondaries. We're just going to try and get some torps off. 9 seconds to target, so these torps will probably kill them. I didn't know if the battleships had shots. The Akatsuki's torps probably not going to get there. We get some AP going. Looked like a heavy hit, but it was actually the battleship that finished him off. So that was a little bit more of an in-depth look at Japanese destroyers on a Russian destroyer game video, but good synergy there and good strategy that worked in conjunction with each other, and you could see the scores reflect that. Anyway, that'll do it for that one. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, hit the thumbs up, and we'll see you later.